As white people, we have always upheld the lie that America is the home of freedom and democracy.
But the reality is very different.
Long before Trump and the cries of fascism, African people were catching hell.
There are over 2.5 million people in prison in the United States, over half of whom are Black or African people.
Every 18 hours, an African person is killed by the police or by white vigilantes.
The average white family has over 22 times the wealth of the average African family.
Something is wrong with this reality.
Mexican people are detained, tortured, and murdered for crossing an illegitimate colonial border on their own land.
In the past year alone, the U.S. has dropped over 26,000 bombs on the Middle East.
And the indigenous people, whose life expectancy is 42 years, are forced to suffer in concentration camps called reservations on their own land.
I'm answering the call from the African Liberation Movement.
For white people to stand in solidarity with Black power.
And to say, we reject this system where the price of our children's security
is the suffering of millions of African, Mexican, Arab, and indigenous children around the world.
I don't want my child's future to require that drone strikes rain down on the children of Syria.
I refuse to be complicit with a system where my rights as a disabled person,
as a transgender person,
as a white woman,
can only come at the expense of African and other oppressed peoples of the world.
I will not fight for my rights inside of a system built for white people on the backs of everybody else.
I'm a white person who stands in solidarity with Black power.
It's not enough for us to say Black lives matter
if we don't support the struggle of African people for Black power over their own lives.
We must take responsibility for what we have done to African people.
We lynched.
We murdered.
We raped.
We tortured African people
for hundreds of years
to establish our lives
and chase our dreams
on the foundation of their oppression.
Because this is not our land. This is land we stole from indigenous peoples at gunpoint. We committed genocide against them.
All of this land must go back to the indigenous people.
Capitalism was built on slavery and genocide.
We inherited the wealth of the slave master, and African people inherited the poverty of the enslaved.
Our every dream and aspiration rests upon
stolen lives,
stolen labor, stolen land,
stolen futures,
stolen dreams,
stolen ideas,
stolen culture,
stolen resources.
We owe reparations to African people.
All white people owe reparations to African people.
The white ruling class has always counted on us to carry out their will.
But we are here to say the legacy of the lynch mob stops with us.
We will not pass this legacy on to the next generation.
White solidarity with Black power represents a new beginning.
We will not do the bidding of the white ruling class anymore.
We will not be their lynch mob.
We will not fight their wars.
We will not be their cannon fodder.
We will not be their drone operators.
We will not be their cops.
And we will not stand by while the police murder African people in our name, or while the U.S. terrorizes the peoples of the world.
We don't care if they are Democrats or Republicans. They can no longer count on us to be complicit with their crimes against humanity.
It's bigger than showing up for a demonstration.
It's not about unlearning the racist ideas in our heads.
This is about white solidarity with Black power.
It's about solidarity with African self-determination.
This is about joining the rest of humanity.
Reparations to African people.
White solidarity with Black power.
We are under the leadership of the African People's Socialist Party.
The movement of African people that is changing the world.
African people in the U.S. and around the world are one people.
We are uniting as one people to free our African nation.
To overturn the colonial oppression of African people.
We are taking back our land, our labor, and our resources.
To build our own liberated African economy.
And secure a future for our children.
We are coming for what's ours.
White people will no longer live at the expense of the people of the world.
Our only future is in solidarity with African liberation.